I don't think actually AI will be able to take over jobs that easy. The reason behind that is it has to be cost effective. For example, if we are talking about taxi drivers, right? We know taxi drivers were taken over when Uber came. So they kind of been taken over and they had to adapt, they had to join Uber, all that stuff. But now, if we think about how AI can take over taxi drivers' job, it can be done very easily after all, because we already have cars which drives themselves. They can easily navigate, take you wherever you like. I think in Los Angeles they already got a taxi drivers without the drivers, and you just go on up, type where you are, where you want to go, and they just take you up there without the driver. The car just shows up without the driver. And but now, how cost effective it is, not for the user but for the company. For example, if you have to replace now Uber driver with a self-driving car, first of all, which company will invest in that? Because for Uber, if Uber has to buy a car, self-driving car, invest in the whole infrastructure of that, it is millions over millions over millions, where they can easily let Uber drivers just keep driving. They do not invest in drivers, they do not invest in cars. All they have to invest in is a app and advertisement. So if you think like, will taxi drivers will be very easy to replace? I don't think so. In a while, yes. But if you think in a short period of time, I don't think it's gonna be very easy, because you can literally just keep using Uber drivers and they will keep driving. If you have to spend like, let's say, I don't know, 80,000 for the self-driving car, when you will have your return on investment back? How long it's gonna take to take your money back from this 80,000? How quick this car can make you 100,000? Plus, you have to remember that's a car. You have to maintain it. You have to service it. You have to keep working on a software. So I don't think it's gonna be very easy to replace, unless maybe if a country wanna take over it and would try to get rid of private companies. Then obviously if a country decide, okay, we wanna invest in 1,000 self-driving cars, for example. I don't know how many Uber drivers there are, but let's say that's the number 1,000. For example, if UK decide that they want to invest in 1,000 cars, self-driving cars, so they can get rid of Uber drivers, and eventually it's gonna start making money for the country instead of for the private company. Maybe then it might make a sense. But also, if you go in this route, then you have to remember that, for example, Uber, I guess they pay taxes. Every car pays road tax, insurance. If country has to cover this up, the income just decreases. And it's very interesting how they're gonna solve this solution, because it's just, obviously it's just a quick example. But even if we think about humanoid robots, okay? For example, if you wanna have a warehouse operative now in the UK, you're going to pay him minimum wage, and it costs you nothing to create a human. all you have to pay is minimum wage, which now in the UK I believe it's like £11 per hour. So if you have, okay, let's go crazy, okay? So if you have a person who's working 10 hours, you have to pay him £120 per hour, per day, sorry, per shift. In a month, it's 20 working days. So you're gonna have to spend 2,400 for a person like that, who will be working in your company for 200 hours. Now, when it comes to humanoid robots, first of all, you have to spend, I guess, a lot of money. Definitely at the beginning, it's gonna be very expensive. So you have to spend like hundreds of thousands to buy this kind of robots, or at least tens of thousands. Then you have to maintain it. You have to change it. At the beginning, it won't be perfect. You're gonna do mistakes, all that stuff. And you might think, yeah, but it can work all the time. Not really. I doubt it, because it also has to have kind of a battery or something like that. So I guess it's in my imagination, how I imagine that, it probably can work, let's say 16, let's say 20 hours, even 20 hours. You still cannot make it work constantly. It has to recharge, it has to maintain it, you have to do a lot of stuff with it. It's not like self-sufficient. And that's also just another example. I don't know. I think we all worried now, and we should worry, because look, AI, artificial general intelligence, is very close. I guess probably countries already have it, but they don't want to release the news, because they don't want to put chaos in the world. But it's very close, let's say, and people don't even realize that. I didn't realize that until I dive into it, until I start reading books, until I start listening to people, like not people around me obviously, but people who works on AI, people who works on safety AI or AI safety. There is an amazing book I got. It's from Roman Yampolsky, I believe he's called. And he recently was on Joe Rogan podcast and Stephen Bartlett podcast, Diary of the CEO. Amazing thing to watch. I said to my mate, like, man, you have to watch it, because it's gonna change perspective on your life. Regardless that, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. We're gonna talk about that in a second as well. But if you start listening and you start diving in, it's crazy what you can hear and how you start thinking about life. And obviously, like, if you go into this direction, you don't want to go from extreme to extreme, because if AI gonna come, there's no point for me to work, or there's no point for me to take care of myself. It's not about that. It's more about understanding it's coming. I think people should understand it is coming, and people should know, at least try to predict what is going to happen. And when I had this conversation with my mate, he's more leaned to probably it's coming, but I'm gonna do my own thing anyway. And I think it's a good way of thinking, because then if something happens, you will adapt at that point. If something won't happen through our lifetime, we are sound as well, because we've been keep pushing it, we've been keep living it as we do now. It's okay. We are sorted. So yeah, it's definitely interesting times coming for us. And I really highly suggest that you go and do your own research, because I'm not trying to tell you anything, I'm not sure about anything. It's more about just giving you a hint that is actually coming, and it's really interesting to find out more about it. So anyway, I will see you very soon, and stay safe.